commission offices at the office of people who are viewing Fatwest TV. Today we are lucky. We are at Electoral Commission offices at the office of PR, Public Relations Officer, Mr. Bukenya. I think he will take us through a lot about what is going on, how Uganda is prepared for the coming elections, how other parties are talking about the way how they organize elections. All these will be reacted on by Mr. Bukenya. He will take us through a lot. So people are viewing us. I think you see how we do things. On Twitter we are okay. On Instagram we are okay. On Facebook we are okay. Then on YouTube you have been seeing, even on TikTok, our videos or our stories goes viral, and there I thank God for being like that. So we move worldwide, though we base in our region or the western region, but still it moves well. And the good thing, we shall continue dealing with the Electoral Commission, like how you will hear from the boss. So, Mr. Bukenya, you're welcome.
Well, you're welcome, Mr. Tresije, and I take this opportunity to say hello to all the viewers of Fatwest TV, and I appreciate the opportunity that I've been given to talk to you about what is going on at the Electoral Commission. It's a great honor and a privilege to engage with you on this important work that we do with you in delivering elections in our beautiful country, our motherland Uganda. Happy New Year to you all. I need to say that, and I pray that the new year 2024 is greatly rewarding, that everything you set out to do will be blessed by the Lord God, and it will bear fruit, good fruit, and that all your good work will be rewarded. Like Tracy just said, he wanted to know what we are doing at the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission is a body established by the Constitution and Article 60 with the mandate of organizing and conducting elections and referenda on a regular basis. And we've been organizing and conducting elections since the Constitution came into force in 1995. We had elections in 1996, 2001, 2006, 2011, 2016, and recently in 2021. But also along the way there have been very many by-elections. We also had two referendum on political systems in 2000 and again in 2005. So in total, Uganda has managed to have what we call continuity in terms of governance, elected leaders at various levels because of the organizations that have been held. Like Farouk asked me as we got onto this site about what is the Electoral Commission, the status right now. Yes, right now we're going through the process of appointment of a new commission. As you're aware, on the 7th of this month, January, the term of office of the commission that we had in place since 2017 expired. And when the term came to an end, of course, the appointing authority undertook the processes of nominating persons to compose the Electoral Commission. And that process right now is going on. As you are aware, some of you, I believe by now, or the whole country knows that the list of nominees has been forwarded to Parliament, and actually they were vetted on the 16th. And now what we are waiting as Electoral Commission is the process to be concluded, the nomination process, the vetting process. It still has to go through issuance of appointment letters and the instruments, like they call them, and then swearing in. After that, we will have the commissioners in their offices and ready to go on with the work. But as we say that, we have already, the commission in the month of August last year, in 2023, August 2023, the commission launched the strategic plan and roadmap for the 2025 general elections. So already there is a roadmap leading us to the 2025-2026 general elections. What is this roadmap? This roadmap is a plan. It's an outline of activities that will be conducted, and it also shows the time frames, the timelines, the times within which we'll conduct those activities leading to those elections. And the roadmap covers 3 financial years. This is because elections are not an event, they are a process. So we undertake various activities as we prepare for the elections, which most people probably see in a visible form on the polling day. But before we come to the polling day, where you present yourself at the polling station, there's a lot of work that takes place. And this is why we came up with what we call the roadmap. And the roadmap details what is going to be done between now and 2026, when we'll have the elections. And of course, we've shown alongside the roadmap the budget, what is required to implement the various activities that will be conducted. So what we will be doing during this time, or what have we started doing, because we launched in 2023 August. We have started doing the sensitization, the voter education, and the reaching out to stakeholders. We've notified all political parties. We have 26 registered political parties in Uganda. We've notified them, we invited them, we even engaged them as we were developing the roadmap, because we had evaluation workshops to look at how the 2021 election was organized, so that we can together plan, or rather, first of all, identify issues that need to be addressed, and as we plan for the next cycle of elections. So after putting the roadmap together, we involved political parties, gave them copies of this roadmap so that they align their internal activities with ours. Political parties are very important because they're the ones which present candidates to us, although we know that there are people who present themselves as independent candidates. So as a first action that we took as Electoral Commission was to notify political parties and organizations that this is the roadmap that will be followed. Organize yourselves, prepare yourselves to participate. But also the roadmap and strategic plan were given to the government, so that government, because our elections are funded by government, and we presented the roadmap, and alongside the roadmap, of course, we attached the budget. Now this helps to plan. And why do we do a 3-year roadmap? First, because we're going to do various activities in preparation for the election, but also to make it easier for government to fund the activities. They can't be funded within one financial year. So the preparation is needed on our part as Electoral Commission, on the part of stakeholders, main stakeholders being the political parties, then of course government, which funds the Electoral Commission, or rather the electoral process, and therefore the Electoral Commission, and our other stakeholders, security, civil society, media, the business community. These people all need to know what's going to happen and when it will happen, so that they plan well and tap into the opportunities. For example, the business community that provides goods and services, the business community that people who prepare events and functions and seminars and conferences and workshops, they get to know when we will be in the heat of electoral activities, so that they plan their activities accordingly. But also you, the voters, so that you can prepare yourself. Aspiring candidates who need to organize themselves and meet the requirements for nomination, as an example. So the roadmap was launched. We've started the implementation of activities under the roadmap. One of them, for example, is the research that we've been doing on various aspects of the electoral process that we'll be undertaking in the next elections. I can give an example. How are we prepared, for example, to incorporate our citizens in diaspora to participate in elections? This has required a lot of research and reaching out to other people who have done it, so that we learn from them, and then we come back to Uganda, where right now we don't have laws. It will enable us to prepare proposals for government to look at and those proposals could then be discussed, and then they become laws, laws that allow us to organize for participation by citizens of Uganda who are in diaspora. So including of course diaspora and those who are in prisons, because the High Court ordered us to do that. So that's one of the things that, for example, we've been doing. How does Kenya do it? Within the East African community, we have member states who are doing that. How has Rwanda done it? And what has been the success? And what are the challenges that they faced? So how have they been able to progress in that direction? What can we learn from them? Those are some of the things that we're doing. How is South Africa doing it? How is Ghana doing it? These countries that are within our Commonwealth. So this is one of the areas that has required research, and we already have some proposals that are being discussed and shared with key stakeholders in the electoral process. So it's also been important for us as Electoral Commission to issue this roadmap in time, so that other stakeholders, development partners, civil society organizations which want to participate in issues of governance, democracy, human rights, civic awareness, to see where they can participate in building and developing civic awareness among Ugandans to peacefully participate in the elections. So the roadmap has been shared with them so that they can start the processes of seeking accreditation and developing voter education materials, encouraging participation of young people, of women, of persons with disabilities, these special interest groups. So releasing the roadmap is one of the things that has put everyone on notice, and they have also gotten started in this process. So also importantly, we have issued timelines, and the timelines indicating when are we going to do certain activities as Electoral Commission, but also on your part as an aspiring candidate, when are you supposed to prepare yourself for participation? For example, an electoral position which requires academic qualifications. We've given notice that by this time, a person aspiring to contest for such and such a position which requires academic qualifications, you must have ascertained and verified your academic documents. But this is also important for people who are still pursuing those qualifications. They now know with timelines within which they can achieve that, or maybe also they can realize that it is not going to be achievable, and maybe look at another elective position which does not require minimum academic standards. But we've also at the same time indicated timelines within which public servants who may want to participate in political or electoral and competitive competitive elections, the timelines within which they can retire, they need to resign from their offices in order to participate in the elections. Why are we doing this? These timelines are very important because they have been the basis for electoral petitions, and some elections have been actually nullified by courts of law because some candidates have not fulfilled such requirements. For example, I go on and win an election, and then someone comes out and petitions and says that Paul did not resign in the time that is stipulated in the law. So in order to avoid that, in this roadmap that we issued, we clearly communicated to aspiring candidates who are also public servants like me, that if you want to participate in competitive elections and competitive politics, please, you must have resigned from your office by this time, because that's required by the law. That will help us to avoid petitions which are costly, which are disrupt governance processes. You go into a court of law and then elections are nullified, and then you go into by-elections, which are expensive. But also it has given we've also given the timelines to enable people to verify their academic documents in time. And so one of the challenges we've had in the last elections is internal political party disputes and how they conduct their primaries and how they resolve the problems that come out. So the roadmap is a very good timeline, has good timelines that will help political parties organize themselves internally. For example, there are party primaries and a period within which they can resolve complaints, so that by the time our nominations start, they have resolved their internal party issues. We've got so many challenges in the 2021 general elections arising out of disputes within political parties. When parties are not organized internally, or when they get disputes internally, they tend to spill over into the national election, and that can disrupt the electoral process. It can disrupt the constituency. It can even become, it can trigger violent conduct. It can trigger chaos. So one of the things that the roadmap is going to help us to do is to help parties organize themselves internally, and also indicate to them that they need to resolve issues and present candidates to us when they have been, they are flag bearers. The question of flag bearers it has been very, very, very important. So that's one of the things that we have done, and we think that as the roadmap rolls out, we'll be able to organize and conduct elections in an effective manner. The roadmap also helps us to ensure that we undertake procurements within time. As you know, elections involve procurement of specialized services, specialized equipment, specialized technology, and some of these are not produced here in Uganda. Some are done internationally, and they take a long time to process the procurement processes, rather to go through the procurement processes. So in our roadmap, we've indicated the time within which we want to undertake key procurements, and this helps the service providers also to know, and it helps regulators like PPDA, the Public Procurement and Disposal of Assets Authority, to support the procurement process, because our processes have to meet the requirements set down in the law. So the roadmap is a wonderful tool. We've used that before, and it has worked for us, and we think going ahead it's going to help us also this time to achieve wonderful wonderful organization and effective and efficient organization of these elections as we prepare going forward. So briefly, that's what we are going through right now as the Electoral Commission, and that's what is keeping us busy as we prepare behind the scenes, so that by the time we come to the public, everything has been organized and it's ready for us to participate. Now, as Electoral Commission, like I've mentioned, we have a total number of 26 registered political parties and organizations in Uganda, and they are all active, and they are on our database, they are in our system, they are on our roll, our register of political parties. They do participate in electoral activities, and in the process, of course, they have different views and different thoughts about the processes. As Electoral Commission, we cannot, of course, take away the right of anyone to think the way they think about issues and their opinions, because that's within their right to think that way. But what we know for sure is that all these political parties have been recognize the role of the Electoral Commission, and they may have their reservations, and I don't want to go into that. They have their reasons for that, but all these parties, political parties, 26 political parties, organized and on our role of political parties, recognize the authority of the Electoral Commission, and we relate with them as Electoral Commission, because the law is very clear on our relationship. So if they have any issues about our relationship or how we conduct business, the law also provides for how such issues can be addressed. If there are complaints on our conduct, on our conduct of our officers or the institution, the law provides for how that can be heard and determined. So I'm not, I think, going to single out any particular party, other than letting you know that irrespective of what is said outside there, the Electoral Commission, rather the political parties that we have on our register, 26 of them, all recognize the authority and the mandate of the Electoral Commission. Their views remain their views, and I don't want to get into them because we've not been specific on any particular issue. But whenever such issues arise, the law also provides for how those issues can be resolved. And that is where we start from. Otherwise, we manage our issues, our role in accordance with our mandate, and the political parties relate with us in accordance with the law. Right now, as we roll out the roadmap, we have 146 districts and cities in Uganda, 135 districts and 11 cities. We have established offices in all of them in order to ensure that the services, the electoral services, are close to the people of Uganda. Our officers have also been involved in community outreaches to conduct vote education and to interact with stakeholders so that they get deeper understanding of the roadmap that was issued, and then they prepare for participation. Our offices are open whenever anyone wants to engage with the Electoral Commission on any issue electoral, and you will be addressed, you will be served, you will be guided, because that's why we're here. So we have presence in all the 146 districts and cities of Uganda, and we're open during all official opening working hours. We have trained our staff to on the roadmap and given them the briefs that they will use to continue disseminating information about the roadmap. But we also work with other stakeholders, and that's local governments as well as other agencies of government that also relate with governance and human rights and security. We work closely with them because together we deliver elections, and also with the people. We have some county supervisors and parish supervisors who come from within those local areas. So if you have any question or any issue that you want to be addressed, you can contact those people in our offices. But we also do have our platforms online where we can be reached instantly, as well as the website where all the information is uploaded. So we are an open institution, always ready to reach out and address the issues of stakeholders.
There are some positions where candidates have been charged. Can you put a light there?
What we've done of course, is to indicate that the electoral laws that govern these elections are in place, and they have different requirements. At this moment, we have not issued the guidelines, but we have issued this roadmap which has the details on the timelines within which aspiring candidates need to organize and prepare themselves. Some elective positions require you, in order to be nominated, to pay a nomination fee. That is in the law. The law prescribes how much money is paid at the presidential level, parliamentary level, and at the local government, various positions at the local government. But there are some positions for which nomination fees are not required. So we've been sensitizing political parties to prepare that when you're going to sponsor candidates, you must be able to sponsor them even financially so that they participate. And we've also trying to ensure that this is something that political parties embrace, so that there is participation, for example, of youth, most of whom sometimes say they are challenged by money, and then of course women and persons with disabilities. So they charge nomination fees are prescribed in the law. They are not set by the Electoral Commission, and where they are required, we will be issuing different guidelines that will detail the requirement and how much is required for each elective position.
Can't you reveal the amount paid?
There is an amount, and I'll be, as the program goes on, we'll be sharing a chart where the amounts that were required for different elective positions: presidential candidate, parliamentary candidate, district chairperson, mayor, and the councillors. The guidelines for nominations will detail how much each person, each aspiring candidate is supposed to pay according to the elective position. But for purposes of the 2020-2021 general elections, and those laws are still in place, presidential aspirants were required to pay a nomination fee of 20 million shillings. At the same time, persons aspiring to contest for Member of Parliament were required to pay 3 million shillings as nomination fees. District and city chairpersons were required to pay 200,000 shillings. Municipality chairpersons were required to pay 100,000. City division chairperson, sub-county chairperson, district councillor, municipality councillors, all those were required to pay 50,000 shillings for nomination. While division councillors, municipal councillors and sub-county councillors pay 20,000 shillings. For purposes of special interest groups and the elections of administrative units, which we will be talking to you in due course, there is no requirement for nomination. There is no fee required for nomination.
Even at national level, when a young person contests like a national youth publicity like that?
When you want to contest for elective positions to Parliament as a youth MP, you pay 3 million shillings. Now, for special interest groups, we will be issuing different timelines and also councillors, members of councils and other elective positions. We will be issuing the guidelines and the nomination requirements, including academic, if any, the number of supporters that are supposed to support your to put signatures on your nomination forms, as well as the academic qualifications where they are required, and the age. As the roadmap starts rolling out, our appeal to stakeholders is to internalize it first of all, and then of course the other appeal, which is very key, is to encourage stakeholders to participate in a peaceful manner. These elections are for our good. We elect our leaders, and they should be able to lead us when we are working together and living together as one, because that's when leadership is most effective. So let us all work together to achieve peaceful electoral processes, starting with these preliminary activities that we are doing. There is going to be a registration of voters. There will be reorganization of polling stations. We're going to do that. We're going to be demarcating electoral areas. We're going to be coming out to update the National Voters Register. We will be displaying it so that we clean it together. And then there will be nomination of candidates. And after that, there will be campaigns, followed by polling itself. So throughout all those electoral processes, we are calling on all Ugandans, all citizens, all the people of Uganda to support peaceful processes, because we will be here, Uganda will be here even after elections. Just like we are now. 2021 elections, we are done and finished, and now we have leaders at various levels, and we're here as a country, and that's how we want it to go.
You haven't allowed people to go for campaign, but what if now I'm having my man and I go for campaign right now?
We have not issued a nomination, rather a campaign program. We cannot announce a campaign period when we've not nominated candidates. The people who were elected are still in offices. But we have also guided that political parties, because this has also come in relation to political parties. Political parties, their job is politics. And in the course of their doing their work, they organize themselves, and they organize meetings, they recruit members, and they do all kinds of things. There is a law that governs political parties. We've advised political parties to ensure that their activities follow the laws that govern that particular political parties, and then the laws that govern public order and public assemblies for that matter. Otherwise, the Electoral Commission has not issued a campaign program, and so we have not put the country into campaign mode.
People who are viewing Fatwest TV, today we are lucky. We had Electoral Commission